What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Dillard, bringing you guys another podcast with my co-host, John. How are you doing, my good sir?
I'm doing well, man. I'm hanging in there. I can't speak right now because I'm busy looking at your shirt.
Oh yeah, the Gallo and Rizzo. Yep, I'm still riding high with it. You can hate me all you want. I still like Joey Gallo. I don't care.
And you just put some tape over Gallo's name because you're gonna alienate everybody that's watching the video because they're all triggered immediately. Now that I've pointed this out, look, it's a great shirt. Don't get me wrong, but you're gonna trigger everybody.
Let them be triggered.
PTSD is going on a lot of people.
Just let them be triggered then. Is all I'm gonna say about it because I love my man Gallo. I'm always gonna like him.
I do love Gallo, but so. I'm certain a lot of Yankee fans are not over that yet.
No, they're probably not. And if we're gonna get on that topic while we're starting this, I'm not gonna blame anybody for it. It just didn't work out. That's all that happened to it. It just didn't work out, unfortunately.
Didn't work out.
But it's been a minute since we did a podcast. I got extremely busy. I was obviously, I work for the Drillers full time. We had to do 12 games in 14 days, so that was a really, really long grind that actually just ended this last Sunday. So I'm thankful that I get this whole next week to just chill, not have crazy office hours, and actually be able to watch the Yankees. But in that time that we missed, they went 2-1 versus the Guardians, 1-2 versus the Blue Jays. Yeah. 1-2 versus the Blue Jays, 2-1 versus the Rays, 2-2 versus the Athletics, 2-1 versus the Brewers, 1-3 versus the Orioles, 3-0 versus the Tigers, and 2-1 versus the Astros, which is 15-11 in that span, and they have a general record of 25-14, which is the second best in the American League. How I see it right now, I know a lot of Yankees fans have very, very high expectations. A lot of the times, very unrealistic expectations. But how it sits right now, there's really not too much that I can complain about, and especially since the offense is finally starting to get hot, especially Aaron Judge. There's really not a whole lot that I can nitpick at this current moment in time.
No, I can nitpick, but it's the bullpen has been on fire. I mean, anybody who's been watching remembers that basically until the Astros game today, I'm trying to think the Astros game yesterday, basically the bullpen has not given up any runs for weeks essentially. We're talking a span of 25 innings pitched where the bullpen didn't give up any runs. Maybe they gave up runs for the starting pitcher, but inherited runners, but we're talking a long time that the bullpen has really been solid, and it's only getting more solid. Giancarlo has kind of been hit or miss, but for the most part, he's looked pretty good. I mean, he's been hitting some. Right now, it looks like he is dialed in right now. He is hitting missiles. Maybe not getting the results, but he's been hitting missiles. So I don't know. It's not like you said. There isn't really much for me to complain about here. I kind of, Stroman had a tough start today, but, the offense battled back, and we brought the winning run to the plate today, or the tying run to the plate today. No, it was the winning run. We brought the winning run to the plate, and we had the tying run in scoring position, and, sometimes the baseball just doesn't work out. So then the breaks.
That's the crazy thing. How many times can you say the Yankees out of the games that they have lost, how many of those games can you say they were within a run or two of winning or at least tying the game up? It's always a battle to the end.
There's not been a lot of games where we've been out of it. There's been a lot of games where we're right there, we're one big hit away, and even the best teams of all time don't get that hit all the time. Baseball's a tough sport. And there was a Hall of Fame closer on the mound today, and we almost got the job done. Nick Birdie looked like he was going to move the run over, and he had to move the runner over. And we had two at bats basically with a runner in scoring position, and unfortunately it wasn't in the cards today. That happens.
Which brings me to my next thing that I wanted to talk about. Obviously, everybody knows now that Aaron Judge has just been absolutely murdering baseballs lately. I picked up his last 15 games, which he is hitting .327 with a .439 on base percentage and a .727 slugging, which combines for a 1.166 OPS. He has 6 home runs, 14 RBIs, and 143 WRC+. This is exactly what we've been waiting for. And it wasn't even that long ago where I was looking at Fangraphs and he was at a 102, 101 WRC+, and now he's almost already to 150.
It's weird for him.
Yeah, like it did not take very long for him to get it going, and you can obviously notice it just by the amount of home runs that he's hitting alone, because all those
Yeah.
problems that he was having in the beginning, it was some sort of middle pitch, a pitch that last year and the year before and pretty much his whole career, he's crushing 400,000 feet,
Yeah, he did
and
it yesterday.
he just wasn't doing that. He was just fouling off all these pitches, consecutive good pitches that need to be driven out of the ballpark, or at least a double or a single, at least something that leads to productivity on the base paths. It doesn't always have to drive in runs, as long as that you're getting on base and you're handing the bat to the next guy, the next man up mindset. But he's been doing exactly the opposite of that. What he was doing when he was struggling hitting all these, especially breaking balls and fastballs that were middle, and he just wasn't taking advantage of them. He's not missing them now. He is basically completely flipped everything around. And we all knew he was going to do this. I mean, anybody who was outright panicking, considering it's, what is it, May 9th now? We've only gotten a little bit over a month into the season. I've seen some ridiculous tweets. I'm not even going to say them. I'm sure you've seen a lot of really, really ridiculous tweets surrounding Aaron Judge lately too. But
yeah, the conspiracy theories were abound.
I mean, like, it's okay to be like a little bit concerned about this scenario, but like, you should never be having these outlandish takes like Aaron Judge should be sent down to minor leagues and stuff. Like, I don't even know what we're doing when we're tweeting stuff like that. Some people just do not deserve to have an X account or a Twitter account, whatever you want to call it. But Aaron Judge is just fine. He is just fine, and it's good to see him get hot while also Juan Soto is doing Juan Soto things.
Yeah, so, I mean, if you want to talk about, like, Aaron Judge, what I did was I pulled up the Aaron Judge Baseball Savant page here, and I'm looking at the swing and take profiles from Aaron Judge right now. In 2021, Aaron Judge generated 11 runs from swinging at pitches in the middle of the plate, the heart of the plate. He generated 52 runs in 2022. He generated 26 runs in 2023. And in 2024, this year, in 169 plate appearances, he's generated -2. So, like you said, he's just been like fouling off these pitches that are like the dead middle of the plate. And you're just like, I'm pretty sure a major league hitter should be able to punish that. And traditionally he should. But just this year, he's just been kind of messed up, and his timing has been off. But now it finally looks like he's finally, pulling out of this nosedive. And I'm gonna be honest, I was a little worried because I'm like, this is it's not looking good. And I'm like, I know he'll figure it out, but I'm just like, this isn't fun because this team needs him.
Yeah, and obviously, kind of going back into it, it's obviously good that he's getting really extremely hot now. And at a good timing, especially since Juan Soto keeps doing Juan Soto things. I mean, I don't have to mention it. 9 home runs, 33 RBIs, 1.016 OPS, 190 WRC+. I mean, it's just Juan Soto being Juan Soto. I mean, that's all there really is to it.
Mind out.
And it just, like, it blows my mind away. Like, I've been watching Juan Soto for so long. Like, he's been one of my favorite players. And, like, it's still, like, I don't know how you feel about it, but, like, it's still a month and almost half into the season. It still doesn't feel real that Juan Soto is taking regular at-bats in a New York Yankees uniform. Like, it just feels incredible.
Yeah, it's honestly been crazy. Like, it just doesn't feel right. I'm just like, yeah, that guy's pretty good. Like, every single time that he comes up to the plate, you're like, he is the guy. Like, the first time I ever did this as a fan was when Gary Sanchez came to this team. And it was like that 2016 season where Gary was like going absolutely crazy. And like every single at-bat that he took that season was like must-watch television. His rookie season in 2016, which he should have won Rookie of the Year in my opinion. But it was like you would go like watch on Live Update if you couldn't watch it, and then you would just watch the dots appear, and then it would just be like in-play runs, in-play runs, in-play runs, in-play runs. Every single time that he gets up at the plate, you're just like, in-play runs. You're just like, when is this going to stop? Like, it feels like every time that Juan Soto steps up at the plate, you're watching. You're like, okay, in play runs, in play runs, in play runs. You're just like every single time. It's just like he comes up big when we need him to come up big.
Mm-hmm.
He's either on base or he's hitting, like one of the two, and it's just been so much fun to watch. Like it's been exactly as advertised. The guy is insane.
And you know me, I always say, when somebody walks, I'm always saying, good eye, whatever this name is, and then walks are awesome. So obviously, I love Juan Soto for that ability and just his pure talent and gift of just
incredible,
of just being able to work out counts against. It doesn't seem to matter what pitcher he's facing, unless it's Mason Miller. Mason Miller doesn't count because Mason Miller is destroying everybody.
Well, he's on another level right now.
But it's just like Juan Soto, it doesn't seem to matter how good a pitcher's stuff is. He's just always battling. He's always working out long counts. He's always going to make you put your blood, sweat, and tears into just that single at-bat / plate appearance.
You're going to earn it.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not going to be easy. It's never going to be easy with Juan Soto. And it's one of those situations where it's just like, I'm so happy that Judge is finally getting hot, because now it's like, oh, if you want to pitch around to Soto, here's Aaron Judge who's hot. Like he's ready to go now. Like that's a good feeling to know that Judge is back and that Soto has extra protection too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's not even just the home runs either.
Mm.
It's like he takes walks, he puts the ball, he hits to the opposite field when he needs to, he puts the ball where the defense isn't, he makes smart plays, he does everything you want him to do, and he's been pretty good defensively as well this season, let's be honest. Like, that has been a nice treat. I kind of came into this season thinking to myself that Juan Soto would be essentially the third worst outfielder that we had, and he has kept up very well. I mean, Verdugo's been playing out of his mind, Judge is Judge, but Soto has been a good surprise this season in terms of defensively. I mean, that's been just even the bow on top of the present. I'm looking at his Savant page right now. Soto's Savant page is just pure red, except for the sweet spot percent. And, he swings and misses sometimes. But when it gets late in the count, he puts bat on ball and he puts the ball in play, which is truly an incredible feat considering the way pitchers pitch nowadays. I mean, it's honestly hard to believe.
Mm-hmm. Which, if we want to talk about pitchers, the next thing that I wanted to talk about personally was my commander-in-chief, Clay Holmes, the myth, the legend himself. 0 ERA and 16.1 innings pitched, 18 strikeout to walk ratio, which is just mental.
I mean, as a closer, that's like so valuable. 18
strikeouts, 1 walk, in 16 innings with 0 ERA, 72.7 ground ball percentage, 82.4 left on base percentage. Hitters are slugging 0 on his sweeper and slider, and then slugging 326 on his sinker, which 326 is also below league average. So that's really good.
A slugging percentage of 326.
And then here's the craziest thing, if you want to get more into the StatCast kind of details. Almost 40 inches of drop on a slider, 44 inches of drop on his sweeper, and 25 inches of drop on his sinker. It's just disgusting. Clay Holmes is just filthy and simply a disgusting monster. And it's honestly a shame how many Yankee fans have criticized him so much simply because there are a lot of times, if I'm being honest, where he does give you that anxiety that, oh my God, why are we doing this again, Clay? Why can't you just have shutdown innings? But how I see it, if he's continuing to post his ERA and he's continuing to have this kind of dominant display as a closer, I don't really care about the heart attack. If he's just getting the job done at the end of the day, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. So I think what a lot of it is, I think a lot of Yankee fans, myself and yours included, I think a lot of us growing up were spoiled big time by Mariano Rivera, that it's like, oh my God, you can't possibly reach a feat that is even as close as what Mo was. You cannot be as dominating as him. And I'm not saying Clay Holmes is like Mariano Rivera, the career or anything like that, but it's just, he deserves respect. He absolutely deserves respect. And it's not just it's just this year he's been good. He's been great since he became a Yankee, since he was traded to the Yankees. he's been nothing but great and one of the best relievers in the league, and all of his numbers across the board since then have been above league average, meaning very good. So I'm just saying, man, people need to give Clay Holmes more of his respect, and who cares if he gives you a heart attack? If he's still going out there and getting the outs that he needs and getting wins on the board for the Yankees, it doesn't matter to me.
Clay Holmes has been truthfully incredible this season, but I would like to just take a breath and just point out the fact that, defense still matters for Clay Holmes. Like, he doesn't strike everybody out. So, the sinkers have found holes every once in a while. Like, people have gotten on base against him, and that's not really a knock. I mean, but the fact that he has prevented those runs from scoring has been incredible. I mean, it's very reminiscent to me of Zach Britton when Zach Britton had that incredible season. Yeah, he would put runners on, but, you were always one pitch away from a double play that would get you out of the inning. And he's going to roll a ground ball. So, I mean, at that point, it's just a waiting game. And you just have to hope that there's somebody right there in front of the person, to field the ground ball. That's really the only thing you needed for him. Clay Holmes is a Yankee. 169, is that really right? 169 games, 55 saves, 171 innings pitched. He has a 2.26 ERA. He has a 2.52 FIP. He has a 10.29 WHIP, which is incredible. I mean, the only thing that ever really has plagued him has been the walks. Last year was an anomaly, but this year he's kept them under control, and that's been, I think, the biggest secret to him being so successful is the fact that he has 2 hit by pitches and a walk. Those are 3 base runners that he's given up, and then he has 14 hits over 16 innings, which is, that happens. But obviously it's been great. I mean, everyone is always cardiac Clay, but the guy has been as close to as perfect as I can imagine over a long period of time. Because like you said, we've been spoiled with Mariano, but this guy has been as good as. I don't know why anybody wouldn't want this guy. Obviously, when he gets off, he's he can be a liability, but he's usually rather consistent over a long period of time.
Exactly. And that's why I think he deserves the respect that I don't think that he has necessarily received yet from a lot of people. But, we'll see with time growing on. I did want to say this, though. One of the things I wanted to mention before we got off this podcast, Austin Wells been hitting the ball pretty well lately.
Hitting the ball well all season. It's just that he hasn't had results until recently.
Exactly. And I mentioned this on the last podcast, but right now, he has a 302 slugging, which looks bad. But if you look at his projected stats, he has a 520 expected slugging. And then right now, he has a 300 WOBA.
20, yeah.
But he has an expected WOBA of over 400. So
404.
it's honestly unreal how much bad luck he was turning into. But it's really starting to resolve itself and starting to flip.
Yeah.
Because he's getting a lot of those doubles. He's hitting them into the gap, and they're not finding immediately the fielder's glove, and that feels good. I'm really excited for that. And also,
as the weather warms up, all those warning track shots will turn into home runs in theory. And also, he's been really good at framing. Now, I was told that Wells was not a great framer. I was always told that, when Austin Wells came up, that he would be really good if baseball instituted automatic balls and strikes, because essentially framing was his weak point. But honestly, he's been framing very well this season. And unfortunately, I feel like we haven't really seen much caught stealings recently, but I'm hopeful that we can start to control the run game a little bit better for these guys, because we've seen people run wild on the Yankees right now. That's one of the only few problems I think we have, is the fact that we cannot stop the running game right now. But we got to work on it. Got to work on it.
I was gonna say though, Wells, to finish off what I'm really excited about. I've been excited since the beginning of the year. Is right now in his last 7 games, he has a 583 slugging percentage. So really good, and things are starting to work out his way, and he's starting to find those open gaps, not going to fielder's gloves, and those are the results that we want to see. But that was kind of to be expected, because baseball is one of those funny games where if you keep having good at bats, keep putting the barrel to the ball, keep hitting the ball hard, eventually your luck's going to turn around, and you're going to have those stretches where it just seems like you can't catch a break to save your life, and then you're going to have stretches where it's like, God, can I do anything wrong? And I think hopefully that's where Wells is at right now, is where he's starting to get those at-bats where he actually has luck, and it's not just an unlucky 100 mile per hour line drive right to the first baseman's glove or something like that. So it
Very,
does feel
very
good.
prototypical of Gary.
Hmm.
Unfortunate. Just right at somebody all day long.
That's pretty much all that I want to cover. I mean, the only thing that I would absolutely nitpick is, and it's not like compared to other infields, it's not the worst in the world, and it's certainly nowhere near the worst ever. Because, well, case in point, Miguel Andujar alone, like that was just a brutal time for defense from him alone.
Yeah, I
But
know.
with
That
that
was
being,
always you want to talk about cardiac arrest. That was watching that in the playoffs. That was cardiac arrest inducing.
but with that being said, the Yankees infield this year definitely has had its fair share of problems, especially coming from Glaber. He seemed to.
Yeah,
It's
a
it's
bit.
it's really weird because Glaber has made some really insane plays, like one of the plays where he made from like the outfield grass against the Brewers, if you remember that play.
Yeah, it's a beautiful play.
But like, then he can't field a ball that's coming right at him, like being flipped to him. All he
Yeah,
has to do
like
is
he just
stand there
falls
on the
asleep.
base and
Or he
be.
makes a double play and has plenty of time. He touches second base and just throws the ball on the dugout, and we're all collectively like,
Was that in the Cleveland series? I think that's what
I
you're
think that
talking
was the
about.
Cleveland series.
I
That was the one where I think that was the game where we I want to say that was the game where we hit a like the tied the game off of Emmanuel Clase, and then
Mhm,
like immediately just could not stop them from scoring runs in the bottom of the inning
mhm.
because we used Clay Holmes in the top half, and then like we had to go to I think Ferguson kind of shat the bed that day. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm just having flashbacks, but I'm fairly certain I remember watching that going, really,
Mhm.
really.
Well, I think you were right because I think that was the same game where Volpe tied it up in the top of the
Yeah,
ninth to
against Emmanuel
force
Clase.
it. Yeah, and that was a game
Emmanuel
that
Clase, which, by the way, has saves against 29 teams in the entire league except the Yankees.
that's actually
Weird,
insane.
weirdly enough, has never recorded a save against the Yankees.
Interesting.
I don't know. I don't know. Weird.
Yeah, sometimes baseball just be like that. Sometimes it's just very
How can you
bizarre.
not be romantic about baseball?
Exactly. But I mean, that's really the only like crazy thing that I would have to nitpick is just Glaber, and it doesn't help that Glaber's bat has been just horrendous. He's not doing anything correct
Yes.
at all. It
Glaber
seems
hit his
like.
first. He his first home run in Camden Yards in about 1,800 days, which is kind of blew my mind.
Mhm.
Glaber has not hit a home run in Camden Yards since he broke Gary Thorne, apparently. That was the last time he hit a home run in Camden Yards. And then finally ran into one the other day. And we're all just like, oh my God, he did it. I mean, I couldn't believe it.
Mhm. Yeah, and that hurts me a lot to see him struggling because he's a really good guy, and that's definitely not a player that
Yeah.
you want to see struggle like that, especially
Yeah.
him. And I've always been
Yeah.
like a fan of his since he came up, and
Yeah.
I've always been one of his biggest supporters. And I literally bought a player weekend shirt for him, so it's like you can't say that I'm not a Gleyber Torres fan. But it's just
Yeah.
he really needs to figure it out because the defense has been a liability at times, and the bat is just not good enough. For
I,
his standards, it's not good.
I think that if the book was written today on Gleyber Torres, I honestly believe that the main story on Gleyber Torres would be it would have to be juiced ball merchant essentially. Just average fielder and really kind of caught on because he hit a bunch of home runs in a juiced ball universe, and then like kind of fell off after that. I don't know.
Mm.
Maybe
Yeah,
I'm crazy.
I mean, you're not too far off considering he hasn't even came close to how many home runs he hit in that juice ball era in 2019. But I mean, he's had some good seasons after that too, though.
Good seasons.
So,
It's just that like overall consistency wise, it's been rather frustrating to
mhm,
watch. Um, Honestly, like I personally think that at the end of the year, maybe I'm a bad person. I love the guy, but I feel like that if they went a different direction, I don't think I would really lose that much sleep over it.
yeah,
We have young options in the minors that I would love to see them get a chance. Peraza. Maybe Roderick Arias can come up and play second. I don't know, somebody, but like I feel like there's young people that I would rather like to see there, who are probably like better fielders, and I think that would be much more, um, much less heart attack inducing, essentially.
Well, now that you mention it, I know he's hurt right now, and I might be kind of biased against him too. But Yorba Vivas,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, 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 for sure.
I'm still very much into him. So,
Hmm.
and obviously Clayton Beater's another one that I have a bias towards
Yeah,
since he
of
was in
course,
Tulsa. But he's been really good with Scranton so far, so that makes me happy
absolutely.
seeing that too.
Yeah, I think he'll, at some point he'll have to come up to maybe fill in for an injury at some point. You never know. These things happen.
Mhm. All right, well,
There's only one thing I really want to talk about, and
go ahead.
maybe I'm like being really nitpicky here, but I feels kind of like Volpe got off to a really, really hot start, and then immediately like the last maybe month, essentially at this point, has kind of been kind of eh.
Mm,
You know what I mean? I pulled up his stats on MLB.com. It feels like the strikeouts are back. It feels like for some reason like he's not making contact as much as he was anymore. Um, he's stolen 6 bases in the last 30 games, which is weird. Which I
mm,
mean, it's weird, but I also understand that Anthony Volpe does not want to get thrown out with Juan Soto and Aaron Judge at the plate, because they're the ones who, if Anthony Volpe gets thrown out and then they hit a home run, everyone's collectively going to groan. So, but the thing that was just like a red flag to me was like just so many strikeouts. Like I think there was a period there where all of a sudden he had like 4 strikeouts in a game, like the first time in like his career or something like that. And you're just kind of like, man, what has happened? Like all of a sudden, a guy that looks like he can't make an out or looks like he basically can't get struck out, all of a sudden is racking up strikeouts again at the same rate he was last season, which was like his big criticism last year was that he wasn't making enough contact and that he was striking out too much. And then all of a sudden now, over the last week, he's hitting home runs, and I'm just like, oh boy, here we go. Not to like, it's fun to see him hit home runs, but I'm like, my guy, like you're here because you have this innate ability to get on base, and you take pitches and you make good contact, and you're kind of like a slap hitter. I don't want to see you hitting like 20 home runs a season, even though he could. I don't know. Maybe I'm nitpicking, but I'm looking at last 15 games. He's hit 213. That's the last 15 games. He hit 213 with 17 strikeouts, 9 walks, so he got on base. He did have 9 RBIs, which is really good. 13 hits over those last 15 games, but it feels like that there was a lot of games in there where he had like 3 strikeouts in 4 at-bats, or like 4 strikeouts in 4 at-bats, and you're just kind of like, man, like is he okay? Has he reverted back to what he was last season, where it was kind of like that swing where it's kind of elevated a little bit and not flat like we've been seeing this season? But over the last 7 games, I think he's been getting better. 7 strikeouts in the last 7 games, 2 home runs, 6 hits, 5 walks. He's hitting 231. So, maybe he's really been seeing the ball a little bit better. I'm just really like I said, a little concerned. The strikeout numbers kind of scared me a little bit because all of a sudden it seems like he was an automatic out for basically a week in there. But I guess that's just baseball. Maybe I'm nitpicking. Maybe he's turned the corner, to quote Boone, but I'm just hopeful because it looked like he was doing so well, and then all of a sudden he just kind of reverted back to swing and a miss, like swinging a pool noodle, and I'm just like, I don't like what I'm seeing anymore. But like, I don't know. Can you tell me? Maybe am I being nitpicky? Have you seen anything weird like that, or am I just kind of like?
No.
Am I going crazy?
Everything that you said was spot on. So basically, I mean, essentially, kind of what you're saying is that you appreciate the home runs and stuff, but you don't want him to
Yeah.
completely change his swing and have loops in it and become that
Yeah, I
guy
don't want
who's
him to
not
be.
making contact
Yeah.
and getting on base anymore. Essentially.
Yeah, I want him to be that guy that like makes solid contact, gets on base, runs the base as well, and then gets on base for the guys in front of him. Like a good leadoff hitter should. Like he sees a lot of pitches, takes his walks, hits the ball where it's pitched, doesn't try to do too much with it. But I've just been seeing like I said, like home run swings. I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. Although today was not really a home run swing. I mean, he really just kind of went with one, and it just happened to go out.
I didn't think that one or the one that he hit the other night were either one of them were going to go out. To be honest with you,
No, they just kind of flew out, which has been kind of nice to see. But then again, like I like I said, maybe I'm crazy. I don't think that's really a great approach. I want to see him, be a gap hitter essentially, a line drive machine, quick to the ball, make good swing decisions, and then basically have 2 to 3 prior MVPs bat you in. Like that's what I really want to see, and I think that's we like I've said in a previous video, we've seen him when he gets on base, he causes absolute chaos on the base paths because pitchers are trying to keep him close. He's, stealing bases. He's causing chaos on the mound essentially, and I think that's a very underrated aspect to his game.
Yeah, you saying you understand why he's not stealing as many bases because he doesn't want to get thrown out with Soto and Judge. But honestly, I kind of want to see more stolen bases from him.
Yeah,
I might be maybe in the minority for that, but I like stolen bases. I think they offer the team a lot of value, and Volpe with his speed and what he's able to cause, like you said, havoc on the base paths. I think the risk is definitely worth it in the long run over time.
Mm-hmm.
So, because
as long as you think you can make it.
Yes, of course, and Volpe is one of those guys. Like, it's not like, I mean, to his credit, Aaron Judge he's stolen quite a few bases.
He steals bases when he knows he can steal bases.
But
he knows I'm not paying attention to him.
But it's just like you would never want Aaron Judge stealing as many bases or even getting as many opportunities to steal a base as like Volpe, for example. But Volpe is one of those guys that like I have a lot of faith and trust on him stealing bags. So
I don't know if it's his decision or I don't know if it's the manager's decision. I don't know if he's saying to himself like I can't get thrown out here because I would rather be on base for a 2-run home run than get thrown out and then be a solo job.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's him saying that, or I don't know if that's the manager saying that. Like, it could be the first base coach being like, look, I know you want to go, but, like, we kind of can't. But then, like, then we're seeing double plays with him, and I'm just like, I wish he was on second base now instead. But, it is what it is. I understand the reasons, they mean, I understand, like, the words, but sometimes I wish he would just take the chance, too.
And honestly, like I also see like a reason for, like I said, you don't want to have him get thrown out and then Soto hit all around and be like, oh, well, could have been 2 runs, 1 run. I know it doesn't exactly work like that in baseball. Hindsight's 20/20 kind of thing. But at the same time, it's like Soto himself also is hitting to all parts of the field. Soto is definitely not one of I know he's hit into double plays, but he's not one of the guys that I'm worried about hitting into a double play. So that's never something that really crosses my mind, per se. No.
Well, sometimes, Judge is a little bit prone for it. Unfortunately, because Judge hits the ball so hard that, the ball arrives at the third baseman. Like today, like Judge just hits a shot right at the third baseman, and then you're just like, that's an instant double play because the ball got there in a tenth of a second. And, Judge is not the fastest runner in the world, even though he is pretty quick. Like, he's not, he's no Billy Hamilton out there, unfortunately.
Good old Billy Hamilton. Well,
yeah.
That's pretty much all I wanted to hit and hammer. If there's anything else that you wanted, or if Volpe was just the last thing you wanted to talk about there for a second.
No, I don't know. I got a little, like I said, I'm not really here to say that like it's been a problem. I'm just here to say that like it concerned me a little bit. And I kind of just got this feeling in my chest, like, oh, here we go again. Like we're reverting back to where we were. Like we got to go get Anthony Volpe a chicken parm dinner or something today, because he is kind of looking a little weird out there. But hopefully it's it's on the mend. And I'm not saying he should never strike out, but just the numbers like all of a sudden started creeping back towards like a high strikeout percentage again. And I'm like you're better than this, Volpe. Like I know you can handle major league pitching now. Like let's go, come on, let's lock back in, man. And like I know you're capable of doing a lot better. I think, but I'm excited, just to see everyone coming back. Like Nick Burdi's coming back, and Tommy Canda's coming back, and then DJ might be coming back soon. Like I know everyone hates DJ, but like I love DJ LeMahieu. Like I want to see if he can do something here. But I'm excited to see everyone starting to come back, and Cole's starting to throw now too. And Dominguez is gonna go on a rehab assignment. Oh, I'm so excited.
Okay, so I will leave this podcast with this question, and I want you to answer it. When DJ comes back, considering he can play pretty much all the positions in infield, obviously won't need to play shortstop for obvious reasons. Yeah. Do you consider, since Glaber's also been a liability and he's not hitting the ball, bench Glaber and let DJ play second?
Well, see, that's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is I think that really what DJ will do is essentially he'll play a different infield position every single day. Essentially, like he's gonna be like, okay, we're gonna have him play third base today because there's a lefty on the mound. We don't want Cabrera playing against the lefty. Fine. And then the next day, be like, okay, okay, DJ, can you go give Glaber a day off just to clear his head? Okay, cool. Next day, hey, can you go play first base for Rizzo? Okay, cool. Thanks, man. Like he'll kind of rotate around a little bit. I think that's how they're gonna deal with it. No. Right now, I don't think benching Glaber is really the answer. I think that Glaber just needs at bats to figure it out if he's going to figure it out. But like if it gets a little bit later on in the season, maybe you just consider it, or you try to trade him maybe and see if somebody wants to like they think they can fix him before he hits free agency. Maybe I don't know, but I think that there's a certain number of at bats that if he doesn't start getting it turned around by then I think maybe the Yankees front office just says, okay, we would rather you just take a seat and then we'll play the veteran DJ at second base, for instance. Maybe that's the case. I really don't know. I think the better question is where's Jason Dominguez play on this team when he comes back, because I have no idea where that guy is going to play. Like, how do you take Alex Verdugo out of the lineup right now? Like, I would imagine that they're going to want to DH Dominguez, but like, where are you going to put Stanton? Because despite the fact that Stanton may not be hitting the best right now, the guy's got 8 home runs right now. He's been like the hero in several of these baseball games, and he looks like he's locked in right now. Like, where are you going to play Jason Dominguez? Are you going to play him in the outfield? You're going to bench Verdugo, he's had as many defensive runs saved this season as he's ever had in a single season in Boston right now. You're going to bench him? Where are you going to put Soto? You're maybe Judge DHs, and then you play Dominguez in center instead of Judge for that day. But where do you put Trent Grisham? Like, there's a lot of things that you need to really consider here. And the good old thing to say is like, oh, it's a good problem to have. No, it's a serious problem to have. Like, they're going to have to really think about some things carefully here.
But I'd rather.
Same thing with DJ, with John Birdie. Like, what are you going to do with him?
Yeah. But as they always say, and I would have to tend to agree with the statement that in this case, it's a good problem to have, and I'd rather have this problem than not have enough talent on the team or there be injuries out of whack any day of the week. So
yeah, no, for sure. I mean, maybe they send down. I don't even remember his name right now. Who's the backup second baseman we have? Maybe they just send him down for now. I forget his name entirely. I can't remember his name, so maybe I'm just like shot. But like he comes in like during garbage time. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do. But like now you're putting me on the spot, and now I can't have this podcast end.
I'm looking. Jahmai
Jones. That's who it is. Yeah.
I'm surprised. I should be thinking Daniel Jones every time I see his name come up. I don't know why.
No, it's definitely not Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Like you said, it's a good problem to have, but at the same time, like it's a very serious problem to have. But some people we do genuinely trust are going to be in charge of figuring that out, and I'm sure that they'll do a good job.
That's all you can
and honestly, between now and then, someone will probably get hurt, and everybody can say, "Oh, you're just jinxing it." Like, no, it always happens. It always sorts itself out some way or the other. Truthfully.
Yep, and I hate that you said that, but you're way more likely to be correct on that than wrong. It
happens every time. I'm not hoping somebody gets hurt, but like it happens. It's baseball. Like for some reason, it's like the number one injury sport, like even worse than football somehow. There's more catastrophic injuries in baseball. A game where you just dress up like you're selling mattresses and run around and swing pieces of wood. But apparently it's like the most devastating sport, like even worse than people colliding with each other and getting like their brains turned to scrambled eggs. I have no idea. I don't get it. A baseball, a sport where you stand around and you spit 95% of the time. That's it.
You fidget with your glove, fidget with your cleats.
Crazy. Like that's all you do in baseball is like sit around, spit, and build like little pyramids out of the cups in the dugout. That's all you do. That's baseball.
You put gum on people's hats.
You put gum on people's hats, and you light their shoes on fire, and then like you occasionally knock over a water cooler. That's it. But apparently, this is the most dangerous sport in the world. Like, who would have thought? Crazy the amount of injuries that happen. But anyway, I think that's all I need to say.
That was a good way to end it. Well, thank you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. Sorry that we were a little bit late, but like I said in the beginning, been super, super busy doing stuff for the Tulsa Drillers. But if you guys did enjoy, make sure you do subscribe if you haven't already. Click that like button, comment, and we will see you guys on the next podcast.
See you guys later. Make fun of his shirt.